Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. This video is going to be a bit different. So you may be aware I'm a fan of Pragmagic, who does region reviews, and I feel like doing one of my own. Something you may or may not know is that with my fakemon region, the Chronia region, I was inspired to do it from watching the Kaskade Region of videos. So I asked the development team of the Kaskade Region fan game, Swirling Seasons, if I would be allowed to do a video where I look through all the designs and give my opinions on each of them. Spoiler alert, I like pretty much all of them. And they seemed alright with it. I didn't get a chance to know if Lockstin was fine with it, but I got the assurance from the devs that he'd probably be fine with it if I wasn't just, stealing his video content. Which I'm not going to do. All I'm going to show is the art assets that are on the Tofrog Swamp wiki, which is the official wiki of the Kaskade region, and also has segments to do with Lockstin's current Fakemon project, Pokemon Legends Neo Getsus. I'm not going to be covering anything from that project. I'm only going to be covering the Pokemon that are currently revealed to be a part of Swirling Seasons, which is most of them, not all of them. And I'm not going to be including the Pokemon that were borrowed from Dark and Windy. Although Dark and Windy did do art for this project, I'm not going to showcase any designs that are Dark and Windy originals, only Kaskade Region originals. So without any further ado, I'm just going to explain how I'm going to tackle regional variants before I go into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about the starters, and then I'm going to be talking about all the regional variants that don't include a new evolution. And then I'm going to be talking about the rest of the decks, and any Pokemon that is evolution of a regional variant, I'm going to talk about that regional variant there. So I hope that makes sense. You'll see what I mean. First off, we have the grass starter, Lampus. It is so cute. And I love that it's based on Pampas grass, and I can I just say, I love how all the starters interact with each other in unique and interesting ways. I want a plushie of it. I think a llama Pokemon, it's not really been done, but I'm really happy with Lampus, as well as a Danfluff, which is also grass type, based on camel grass. Well, it's a camel and a llama, right? I could be wrong, but I love how just dumb it looks. But Drought Proof is it's an interesting ability, and I do love it. And Alfalfa Lops is just a brilliant name, and a really cool design too. Like, it's also got a really interesting type. Grass Rock is surprisingly good, and it makes this starter worthwhile to pick up. And I love the sort of Aztec temple on its back, and I love all the elements of its design, and I think it really works for the sort of game that this is going to be. So next we have Thurple. I like Thurple. Also, I will have the type combinations under each of the Pokemon, if you couldn't already see. So this is Fire type. I like that it's a Lava Lamp. Also, I don't know why, but I do like Snake Fakemon. I don't know why, but this is... I just like the idea of a Serpentine Pokemon, and this one is one of the best I've seen, and I like how it's terrified, and it's hydrophobic, so it works. I like how they do all interact with the weather and each other with their respective weather, and it's like they may be weak to the next Pokemon along in their triangle, but they also have good defenses against that Pokemon's weather. It's really interesting, and Thurple evolves into Asphalt. I pronounced that wrong. Asphalt. I like how it's based on road snakes, and like just roads in general, and it does feel very much American, but this does feel like something Pokemon would do for an America-based region. And again, fire ground, interesting type combo, and hydrophobia does, or hydrophobic as an ability does mean it's still weak to water because it halves water type damage, but it would be 4 times weak otherwise. I think Tarmandoa is such a cool design. It's probably my favorite. Oh no, I can't say it's my favorite Final Evolution starter, considering all of them are really well done, and I love how circular in appearance it is, and yeah, I love that it's based on tires, and it's so good. It's so good. Burburl does something interesting because it's based on bugs, and Burburl itself is just mono water at the moment, but it's just a little baby, and it's really cute. I think it's the cutest out of the. Oh, I can't even say that because they're all cute. Oh, I like them. I think these starters are probably the best fakemon starter trio I've ever seen. They are so good. Like, they are too good. They're so incredibly good. And the good thing is, Spoutlaw... I think Spoutlaw is definitely my favourite out of the middle stages. And I feel confident in saying that, because I like how it introduces, its Wild West inspirations. Because, that's important to American history. And including the history of the Pacific Northwest, which is what the Kaskade region is based on, which I failed to say at the beginning. Darn it. But it's Water Bug now. I'm surprised it wasn't Water Bug from the start, and because it still got the bug type elements there. But bug type. It's interesting because we haven't had a bug type starter yet, and I think there's no reason why we shouldn't. I know we get early game bugs anyway, but we've had flying type starters before. And we get early game flying types, so I don't see what's wrong with that. And we have early game dark types as a sort of serious... Not as much as the early game flying types or the early game bug types, but like the... early game dark types are also a thing, and we also have dark type starters, such as like Greninja, Incineroar, Hisuian Samurott. So I don't see what's wrong with doing a bug type one. And credit to Lockstin for coming up with one that also. I think this one has my favorite concept behind it. And when I first started watching the Kaskade series, this was definitely my starter pick. Now I think I would pick Thurple. But honestly, credit to Lockstin for making it a really hard choice. Because I know it... Like, I know when creating Startermon, it does... it is difficult to make all starters equally as pickable. Especially with me, because I'm doubling the starter options, but, Vacuumail's just so cool. It's got a really cool name. It's got a real cool design. Probably I was about to say probably my favourite bug type of the region, but there is one that we will get to. Yeah, honestly, all these starters are phenomenal. And, as I said, easily the best set of starters I've seen in any fakemon project. Right, we're going through the regional variants now. Cascadian Raticate. I've personally not really been a fan of it. Like, the design's good, and I do like what Lockstin's going for. Like, with being an iced rat. Personally, I think the idea behind it suits Ice Poison more, considering it's based on how dry ice is used as rat poison. But I do get why it's normal poison, because it's still a normal Raticate, it's just iced. I think... You see... It's weird, because I've done my own Raticate for my region, and of course, naturally, I'm going to prefer my concept, but I still think this is an interesting concept. It may not be a direction that I entirely like, but I don't dislike it, and I think it works. I quite I I can see what the thought process was, and I think it's definitely pretty decent. And you know, props Lockstin for making an iced rat. Now we get to the Ghastly line, and I like how it's based on mist and like the redwoods and all that. And I honestly prefer this design to Ghastly than like the actual Ghastly, because I don't really like the orb aspect of Ghastly, and they removed that but just kept everything else about it. But it is basically just Cloud, and I know I'm gonna get slack for saying that, especially later when I have Pokemon that are literally just clouds, but I do think this is a good translation of what Ghastly is. And making it ghost water also really works, because it's still a ghost, it's just water because of the water vapor. And, you know, when it evolves into Haunter, that's when it takes shape. And I love this Gengar. I love it. It's just a little guy, and it's got a more moist tongue, which would work because it's water type. It's such a cool idea, and yeah, I really like it. So, Jinx as a pole dancer, being psychic fighting. I'm good with the type combo. It really works, and I think the design really works for it too. Oof. I think I meant to have an element of disgust because it is Jinx, and I think that was intentional. I don't think this is a bad design at all, and I think it works, making Jinx into essentially a pole dancer. I hate that it works so well, basically. I actually forgot what Cascadian Lapras was based on. It doesn't say on the wiki. Wiki editors, please change that. But a nice dragon-type Lapras. I mean, I've already sang my praises for Lapras as a Pokemon, and I like how it looks more mischievous now, and you can't ride on its back because it's so much more icy. This Pokemon could have easily been a Mono Ice type, but it's Dragon type because it's cool. Yeah, I like Lapras, and I've seen plenty of Lapras regionals in many regions. I'm not doing one myself, but what can I say? I'm a sucker for Lapras love. So this was not seen in the series. This was described as canon in the series. But we've got Cascadian Marill. We don't have a Cascadian Azurill, which I think they were wrong to cut. But it's because I feel like it makes just as much sense to do Azurill as well as everything else, because they're all based on flotation devices. And I guess Azurill is just well, it's not water type, so it's not proficient in floatery. So I guess that could be why they didn't do it. But Cascadian Marill, look, Marill and Azumarill used to be my favourite fairy type. Now they're not fairy type, but I don't care. They are Pokemon that I really love. And, you know, I think this art of Cascadian Marill is really cute. Cascadian Azumarill is even better. It looks even friendlier than Jotonian Azumarill. And I love that they're based on bladder kelp, which are natural flotation devices, so it makes sense considering they are already based on flotation devices. It's such a good design concept, and honestly, yeah, I would consider putting them on my team. Problem is, there's so many good water types in Cascade that it's difficult. Amazel Sudowoodo, which is Steel Psychic, which there are a scary amount of Mon in this region that have a base form of one type, but then have two different types, sort of like Cubone to Alolan Marowak. But still, this is an artificial Pokemon, so I think it works. And I love how it's based on those disguised cell towers, because it's a thing disguised as a tree. So you might as well have the Pokemon where that's its whole thing, be that. And it's a lot better than what I'm. Well, I don't think it's. I don't want to put myself down as saying, oh, this is better than what I'm planning to do with that concept. But it's definitely more befitting of that than what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do is. That's just an aspect of it, so. Yeah. I mean, I'm basing my region partially off Canada, so there may be some overlap with Kaskade. Because it's partially based on Canada too, but, you know, sometimes that might be just unavoidable. X-Cloud being based on Grunge? Alright. Normal Steel. It's got, I think it's a better version of X-Cloud, that's for sure. I don't know why this was seen. Like, obviously, I don't think any fakemon is necessary or has to be like seen as necessary to exist, because like it's a cool design, so that should be good enough. So don't take what I say as a thing of, oh, this thing should have been cut. I'm just wondering why this was put to be final. I like the concept. I think the concept justifies being in the region, but I don't know if it works on the whole. I don't see why as much as the others. I hope you know what I mean. I'm not criticizing the design. I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just. It just feels weird. I don't know. I get a bit of a disconnect with this one. Maybe that's just a me problem though. Tropius, on the other hand, I'm loving. Grass Ground, which has only been used by Torterra before, and it makes a good contrast to regular Tropius, which is Grass Flying. And it's based on the Redwoods, and it's... I like how the Redwoods have, like, so many Pokemon, that, you know, it has that are based off of it, like... You know, the Gengar line, and this line as well. It's just real. I like how not much has changed, but it definitively looks like it's not flying type anymore. And I like that it's based on something natural and just like Tropius, and yeah. I think it would have been pretty cool to have a Nanot on its chin, and we'll get to a Nanot another time, but yeah, I just... Oh no, I just like it. I sound more passionate than I am about it, but genuinely, yeah. It's just working for me. Bidoof is a god, and this Bidoof... I'm glad that everything about Bidoof that you like stays in this, except maybe the butt being a bit different. But then again, it's a steel type. It should look a bit more steel type. So that's why they changed that, I presume. But I just like how they made it more beaver-y, and exaggerating the iron in its teeth. I know I'm going to be doing a Bidoof variant too, and I know that it's mainly going to be in the barrel variant where you see the change. I'm doing something different from Cascadian Bibarel, which I think is genius, but Bidoof is more so the stepping stone for that, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you make it clear, like, the concept is different enough to justify it, it works, and I think Bidoof does, and Bibarel is so amazing. Psychic Steel. I love the concept that because it has metal in its teeth, it picks up on radio waves, and tunes into all these things, and becomes smart as a result. Like, that's so good. That is so good. Cascade and Barrel, I'm in love with it. I'm in love with it. Please tell me it has a good ability. Gravity Sling. What's that? Boost the Pokemon's speed in the magnetosphere. Okay, so it's weather based. So in the steel type weather, its speed goes up. I recommend watching the video series to get more detail about some of the design origins, because I'm probably going to gloss over some of them. But, yeah. So, another thing that's now a thing that we didn't see in the video series is Cascadian Shinx. It's cute. I love Shinx. Shinx is my baby. And now it is ice. I like it. There's not much to say, like, all of the designs just make it more ice-typey. And, you know, that's cute. Same goes for Luxio. I don't think much thought went into, like, Shinx and Luxio. More so, they, changed to make sense. But, even still, I think the art for them looks really good. I like the design. I think what does change about them is really good. They did more than they needed to, because the general idea is just make them white and ice type, instead of black and electric. That's just all. That's all they need to do. But they did more, and I'm glad they made it look more stylish, and yeah, I like it. And then Luxray has different art than we see in the series, and in the video series, yeah, it is just basically white and ice type. But now it's ice electric, which works better with, you know, all those explanations, and with the explanations that this was the original Luxray, and I like this. And I think this design definitely improves on the concept more, and it also now being electric type 2, it just it works. I like it. I've definitely taken a Pokemon that I like the general idea of, expanded upon it, and made it a good line. And also, I'm a fan of Luxray anyway, so yeah. I will admit, Ambipom does look better now. Still not that big a fan of Ambipom because it's Ambipom, but hey, I like that it's based on the Aggro Pelter now, and I like how it's normal rock, and yeah, it's an improvement for sure. Genuinely, all you needed to do to improve Ambipom was fix the hands on its tails and fix its face, and that's what this did. So it is an Ambipom that you can look at now and not want to throw up. Again, like it. Amazel Driftblim. Great. Love it. It's it's a drone that delivers packages. Perfect. I don't know if Driftblim was the perfect Pokemon to choose to do this, but I'm glad they did choose it because it works. And I like how it's a different shape to Driftblim, but it's still very much Driftblim. It very much feels like they made an artificial Driftblim. So, yeah. I like it a lot. I feel like they should have had a Cascadian Stunky too. But Cascadian Skuntank is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun idea. It's just weed. It's funny. It's genuinely funny. And it looks better than Skuntank. It's weird. It doesn't really look like a Skuntank now. I feel like they should have had a Cascadian Stunky. Made this a new evolution. Because it doesn't have the butt face anymore. So, and that's kind of Skuntank's whole thing. I have a weird affinity for Excadrill. And I think that's because Iris had one in the anime, and the black and white anime is what got me into Pokemon in the first place. And seeing a Ground Fairy Excadrill, I think Ground Fairy is definitely a hard type to figure out. And you'll see that I basically just forced some ideas together. But taking an already existing ground type and adding fairy elements onto it works so well, like with the chakras and healing crystals. Like, in the Mount Spectral location, it's just, oh, I like it a lot, and it's a brilliant it's a brilliant creation in my opinion. Cascading Girder and Cascading Conkeldurr, I'm just going to talk about now. I think I prefer them to their Unovan counterparts because they reduce the parts that I don't like about the design in the Unovan version and replace it with just a logger aesthetic, which, like, I'm fine with the progression to heavier materials in the Timber line, but I like that it's now Fighting Grass type logger Pokemon. And yeah, I think that the designs just needed streamlining to begin with, and this naturally streamlines them. So just as designs, I just like them. Solosis, Duocean, and Reuniclus, there's not much to talk about them separately. They're all really cute, and I think they are cuter than the Unovan versions. And basing them off of Tardigrades is so genius, and Psychic Water just... And because they're water bears, they look more bear-like, and it's just... I am... My universe simpery is just exploding right now. I think these are so cool, so well done. Again, another war type that I really like in this region. Going from water to colder water, we have an ice type, or a normal ice type, Bunnelby. I can't remember what about it should make it retain the normal type. And I definitely prefer this to Raticate, but I don't know, I feel like balancing-wise, I think... I don't know, only one of these should have been kept, because, like, you've got two regional rodent variants that are the same type combo. So, but they are different designs. They're different design concepts, so I do feel like it's fine. It's just not what I would do, of course. But then again, if you want to know what I would do, like, I've got my own fakemon region. But, yeah, Bunnelby, I just like that it's like a snowman kind of deal, and it's just cute. And Diggersby is an improvement. I do feel like keeping the sort of quote-unquote ugliness aspect of early normal type Evos, yeah, that should always stay. Because we do get the occasion... Well, we do get the occasional, like, they're not ugly, but that was just Furret and Linoon. But, like, I feel like this is... This definitely feels like it's ugly and strong as a result, but it's not ugly. I am put off by this. It keeps the general aesthetic Diggersby was going to go for in the first place, but no, it does it in a better way, I guess. So I think it was the right call for Lockstin to, like, keep the aspects about it, but just recontextualize them to be snowplows. I really like Phantom. It's this version's cute as all heck. Yeah, and I like that it looks like an acne-ridden teenager, and it's like all fungus and stuff, and it's just so cool. And then Trevenant. I've always found Trevenant a really cool Pokemon. Like, you don't even know, like. And Cascadian Trevenant is easily one of the most striking, best designs in the entire Kaskade region. Again, I think Lockstin's poison types really work too. not just his water types. Like, all the fungus and the mind control stuff with all that foreshadowing. It's just... This is so good. This is so good. Cascadian Diancie is interesting. Having a regional variant of a mythical Pokemon, I think is an interesting concept. I'm going to be toying with that myself. I do feel like the typing makes sense for what it's trying to go for. What it's trying to go for, I don't think is too different from Colossian Diancie, but Cascadian Diancie and what it's based on, I forget the name of the mythical beings, but they're mythical beings. I don't know. I forget the exact myth, but I do know that it's definitely tied to elements of like Mount Shasta and all that in the real world. And do you know what? Having a Pokemon that is basically just Mount Shasta incarnate makes sense, and making it a regional variant of Diancie, fair enough. I think it works and plays a decent, significant role in the story. So, fair dues. We're nearly done with regional variants. Crabominable. Now, you guys may know with my Crabominable that appeared in my my unused type combos video that I made it fighting type because Crabrawler was fighting type. So this Crabominable is still ice type, but it also gains the poison type, and I get it. I get all the basis of it, but I'm not that big a fan of this, but I do admit it's definitely better to look at than a Alolan Crabominable. So this definitely this definitely completes the mission statement of making a better Crabominable. I kind of like it, but I don't like it as much as I want to. But still, I'm sure it does have its fans, and yeah, fair enough, works out. But let's just say my Poison Ice type, I like my concept more. But of course I'd say that because I'm me. Okay, a bit of a spoiler alert. I'm also going to be having a Rock Ghosts Palisand variant. It may... Like, I was originally a bit reluctant to, because, well, this exists. But my concept is different, and this is such a good concept. Is that the version that we saw in the video? I don't know if it's the same version we saw in the video series, but it doesn't matter. I think it's really cool regardless, and it's because it's still basically the same thing, just with bigger sand, like bigger rocks in the sand. So it's rock type because it's more than just the fine grains like in the ground type. It's just really good, and my version will also have a regional variant of Sandygast, which this doesn't, which still makes sense. Still makes perfect sense. I like this Bruxish. I like how it is still on brand for Bruxish, and I like all the elements that it's based on, like chewing gum and like healing properties and all that. I don't know what type it could have been. I think just making it mono water type's a bit weird if you're not gonna give it like an evolution or something, like with like Slowpoke, but I don't know, it still works. I still like this design. And Cascadian Dubwool is too perfect. I know I'm Scottish, so I know I'm gonna like love this no matter what. And that just means I can't do that, because I would be literally copying off him, because there's like no other way to do this concept. So I would have to do something different for a Bagpipemon. But this is amazing. This is amazing. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, regional variant in the region. And I may have said that about something else. I don't know. But I just like it. I like how it's based on just one dude, and then just It's just so cool. Should I say hot? It's fire type. That's a bad joke. Right, now finally we get onto the regular mon. And starting off we have another bug type, right after the first bug type in the dex. We've got Silo. I think Silo's very cute and definitely yeah, it looks like a grain silo, and it's a grain silo, and it sighs a lot, and yeah, I like how they all have like Silo, Kuredzen, Probaska, which is the new name for Bugasak. I like how they all use the normal type very well because they're soft. Like because wheels are soft and that, but they've also got sound-based stuff to do with their design, and being based on reggae and ska and stuff, it's just such a good concept, and I like them. Okay, Monster's cute, and I want one. You know, it's just a little moss hamster. And then we've got Muskrat, and it's got two forms, but they're just different colors. Don't know if that detail was strictly necessary, but again, I don't care. It's good. I like it. I think Muskrat is a very cool Pokemon idea, or just I like it a lot. It's the water types, man. The water types always get me. Spacoy and Opaque Spiel are just really cool ideas. This was the first time I've seen an Opossumon that was normal ghost type. I've seen it other places as well. But I think it makes so much sense, because they're playing dead, but they're not dead, so they are still normal animals, but they're playing with the ghost type, and that's just such a perfect idea for normal ghost. I'm surprised Pokemon haven't already done that. And I'm surprised the first normal ghost type is just a normal Zorua, but like humans killed it or something. Like I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised. It just, I don't know. It just works for me. And the concept of it playing dead, and it's an actor. I love like all of these things coming together, all of these design ideas coming together, just is why I wanted to make Fakemon in the first place. Histamine makes sense. It's more to do with the weather. Grass pollen is the grass weather. You know, it's allergies. It's mean. Grass pollen's mean. So it makes sense to make a mean grass pollen Pokemon. I like it. I know I keep saying I like it, but you know, it's simple and it works. Works as a single stage mon. Quail, Quailer, and Quailstion is just so good. Like a Quail Pokemon is interesting, and basing it off of like the East Oregon militia and like the Doomsday Prepper type people, and it makes sense why it's ground type, because they're on the ground and they make bunkers and they've got tinfoil hat. It's just I love this regional bird, and also it's ground type, and you know, ground type regional birds. Or ground flying types don't get that often, and I think this really works as a ground flying type, because like it still flies, it can still fly, but it's also tied to the ground in places. So it's like they're weirdly opposite types, but they combine together so well. Eevee, Muslifo, and Eecroach solo form. Again, I really like these as a secondary regional bug. Like this. I really like these designs so much. I even like them more than the primary regional bug of the Silo line. Although I probably would rather use the Silo line. I don't know which type's better, normal bug or grass bug, but I like them. I think Eecroach's swarm form's an interesting thing. I feel like the reason why they gave Wishy-Washy this school form, like they made Wishy-Washy just a single stage mon, and I think that works out just fine. But this is a 3-stage, so I wonder how they are gonna balance Eecroach's swarm form in the game. but it's such a cool idea, and they encroach, and it's just I love all the themes to do with them, and yeah, works out well. So, Clam Trip. Just all the pearl dropping stuff and that sort of like cartoon thing, and just, I it's this inspired design. It's very Pokemon. It's very Pokemon. I can see this as like an Alola or Galar Pokemon for sure, in terms of just it's a goofy concept. Roviar and Sinnoh. The interesting thing is, I was kind of wanting to do a Salmonmon for my regional fish, but I've decided against it now. I may still do a Salmonmon, but still, I think it makes more sense for salmon to be something from the Pacific Northwest, because that's more interesting here than, or interesting there than it is for where my region is based on. Oh, my region is based on Canada, so I guess that works too. Well, my region's partially based on Canada, is what I mean, but still, I think basing it off of Caviar and then a canoe, and like basing it off of like Chinook and ores, and just that, what I think this is a really solid Pokemon design. And it's water type. It's always the water types that get me in this. Like Tofrog and Kasagazog. There's a reason Tofrog's the mascot. It's so cute. It may be the cutest mon in this dex, but it's also got a really interesting design. It's nice and playful, hence the fairy type, but it's also poisonous, hence poison type. And I just think making a frog made out of tofu and then just basing it off of a bunch of yokai because of the Japanese inspirations, because of the connection between Japan and the Pacific Northwest, and just I really like it when fakemon designs connect back to Japan in a natural way, because Pokemon is a Japanese series and you're basing it off of a Japanese series, so having some Japanese inspiration makes sense. And I'm definitely gonna try my best to do that with as many mon as I can. Although I'm not gonna try and force it with every mon, like I am trying to like make it work with where I'm basing it on. But this is just so natural, so brilliant. I'm so annoyed I don't have a Tofrog plush. I should have got it at the time. But yeah. Anano and Ananoop. Yeah. Again, banana slugs. So they're slugs that look like bananas. So, this isn't the only concept I've seen for a banana slug Pokemon, but having it be a banana slug and then a banana bunch, just this is goofy. I love it. These are the sorts of designs I like. I just like goofy designs, but goofy designs that work really well, that tie in with, you know, what you're trying to go for, and this perfectly does that. So we've got two forms of cataracts, which are gender-based, and yeah, I think it's a nice example of a sad Pokemon. Making it a feral cat works, and I like how it's a calico cat in one of its forms, and yeah, just I like it. It's good. And then its evolution, Catatoon, like making a Spiritomb a cat. I didn't know I needed that in my life. I have it now. Holy shit. I like it a lot. So we've gotten to the first regional evolution in the dex. And so now it's time to talk about Cascadian Yanma and Yanmage. These are probably my favourite designs in the entire region. Bug Dragon, using the sort of magical, arcane magic explanation for the dragon type, works so well, and making it based on Dungeons & Dragons. I love D&D. And I've not played it in a long time, but D&D is such an immersive and magical experience, and And this perfectly encapsulates everything you'd want in a D&D mon. But it's also a dragonfly. And I love it so much. And yeah, I'm probably putting it on the thumbnail. I'm also putting Toefrog on the thumbnail. I don't know what the third mon I would put on the thumbnail is. Who knows? I mean, I will. Future, you'll know, and future me knows. But yeah, Blue Mage is interesting. I forget why it's fire grass type, but I like it. I like it. I like how it's like an emu, and it's interesting. It's got an interesting design. It definitely looks the type. Yeah, it's just interesting to look at. I like it. Now, there are 3 Pokemon, one with 2 forms, that out of the next 4 in the decks that have not been revealed yet. I would love to know what they are, but I do not, and I would not have permission to show them anyway. Maybe I should have waited until the game came out, but that's a few years away, and I just wanted to show my love for this series anyway. So, you know, but everything here that I'm going to be talking about has either been shown off in the video series or an expansion, a natural expansion of it, and then just an Eeveelution and an Eevee clone. But we're not there yet. We're at Desiree, a cowboy manta ray, using the Sword of Justice definition of the fighting type. And it's also ground type, because, you know, that works for a cowboy, I think. Yeah, it's cool. I really like it. I've not got much to say about the design. It's just, I just find it to be interesting. Padette. Well, I'm going to be talking about Padette and Moon separately, so it's easier for me to edit, like, the types. But Padette is just cute, and it's a puppy cadet. Easy. But Wound is such... I like it so much. It's got a phantom limb, literally, and the ghostliness is purple, referencing the purple heart medal. And that's where the medal would be, around your heart, and that's where it's coming from, the heart. And fighting ghosts is a perfect idea for a soldier, and just all of those elements just work so much. This is definitely one of my favourite Pokémon, full stop. And yeah. Frambow and Glacialimp. We haven't had many glass Pokemon. And making a fire ground glass type... Glass type? Glass type! The 19th type! Glass! Nah. But, Frambow Glacialimp, yeah. I like what they're based on, and I like that they didn't change Glacialimp's name. Because I like how it references a real-world person, like Dale Chihuly. And yeah, like, glass-blowing Pokemon is such a unique idea, and yeah. I've not got much to say about Obsidius. It's a cool design. It's obsidian, rock dark. Yeah, it just looks cool. Recrine and Miraculisk. Miraculisk is the evolution of Recrine, but we did not see that in any of the Cascade videos. Miraculisk is an invention by the developers because Recrine needed an evolution. And yeah. And Steel Poison because it's Mercury and Rusted Metal. I was going to do that with my Steel Poison type, but I'm not anymore. But like this is like utilizing the obvious route to go down when it comes to Steel Poison typing, and applying it in such a way that I think is an interesting and very Pokemon way to do it, if a bit edgy. So we've got 2 forms of Drought. We've got Wet form, which is the form I like the design of more, and the Dry form. And I think it works to showcase the weather. Garuchi's interesting. So, beavers are important in that part of the world, so there's naturally multiple beaver Pokemon, and there's a beaver Pikachu clone. It works, and my favourite thing about it, other than the design, which is really good, is the fact that, you know, it has an ability that makes all water and electric type moves got flying press properties. Whichever one does more whichever type out of the 2 does more damage. is that type now, and that's so good. I love it. Prospector. I don't get why it's here. Oh, it's got a cowboy hat. I did not realize it has a cowboy hat, but I don't get Prospector like at all. I don't think Lockstin did a good job of explaining it in the video. I'm a big fan of Lockstin, but it's like it goes to the Canary Cage and alright. I don't know. I don't think I vibe with this one particularly, but the design's cool. But yeah, I just don't think this one's for me. Bagul is an interesting like social commentary by being like a plastic bag that caught a ghoul, and it's a fun little goofy design. Oh, it originated from Dark and Windy? Oh, it's okay. Bagul is the Bagul we see in Kaskade is different from the Dark and Windy version, but there is a Dark and Windy version of it. I did not know that before. So this is still going to be in the video. Mono Ghost type instead of Ghost flying. I like it. I prefer this version to Dark and Windy's original version. I would assume Dark and Windy did the art for this version of Bagul. But yeah, I like this version more. Esto and Perpetua being like nuclear waste that lasts forever, but also aliens that have been controlling the interdimensional aliens that have been controlling everything forever, being on different wavelengths, like different wavelengths of light, including like probably gamma rays, which are radioactive. Like all this works, and I love alien Pokemon. I love fakemon that are based on aliens. Like they're so cool. I've not encountered one that I don't like yet. I really like these so much, and the typing makes sense. It's psychic type because it's alien. It's poison type because it's nuclear. If this was a uranium Pokemon, it would be psychic nuclear. Right, we've got Cascadian Meanfu and Mean Flux. Or is it a Cascadian Meanfu? No, there's not. I thought there was a Cascadian Meanfu. Okay. Well, we've got Mean Flux. Please don't tell me this is a Mandela effect. But yeah, we've got Mean Flux. So I was actually referring to the original art in this footage, but now I've seen the new art, I'm just going to say it's really good and a fitting new evolution to Meanfu. You know, it's a fast little martial art boy. Not got much to say. But I am surprised. I thought there was a Cascadian Meanfu. Speaking of electric types, Tuberum and Detrarch. I find earthworms really cute. I think they are underrated as animals. And we've got a ground electric earthworm, and it makes sense why it's electric type, because potatoes and potato batteries, and I think these designs work so well. I don't see earthworm Pokemon nearly as much as I should. But I think these are perfect. Tough and Katuff being a sort of counterpart to Riolu works. I think it. I like how it's like girls can be strong too. And Beat 'em Up being a counterpart to Lucario, except instead of Aura, it's Extreme Magnetism. Works too, and it's a roller derby player that's also a cougar, and also a cougar. Both kinds. I like it. Auditar is really cute. I want one. Then Auxiliary works. Adding the electric type makes sense, and auxiliary cables, and you know, having it be based on Pull Bunyan and the Blue Bull or whatever. Yeah. I like it. I think it's a very fitting design. Tamarost. I think it works as a design. I don't know why. I don't really connect with it that much, but I do think it works really well. Works a lot better than all the other ones that I don't connect with as much. And, you know, it's good. I think I think they've carried out the design really well, and I like how they look like hipsters. I have been skipping over some because they're not released yet, but we also have Vitasquash, Sasquatch, Winemaker. I love it. And then Dionysieur. And it is a wine drinker, and it's just like, it's... I do find it... I find it alright where, like, one aspect of the design only carries over in terms of aesthetic, and it doesn't develop that aspect in favour of the other aspects of design. And it's just dropped in all but species stuff. That's fine. I think I'm doing stuff like that. But yeah, like, I think I just really like this. It works so well. Umbraloo, having an umbrella Pokemon representing the apathy towards umbrellas, really works, and also basing it off vampires because of Twilight. Perfect. Perfect. I love this thing. Neckle. I love it. Rabuse. I love it too. Neckle. It's a gooseneck barnacle. Rabuse. It's a goose. I love this thing. Not gonna lie, I've been thinking about Kaigus, like, a lot since I first saw it. And so does my partner. It's so many things at once, but it all works, it all comes together. And just all that inspiration, I wish I could be half as good as, like... I wish my ideas could be half as good as this. Like, this is so beautiful. Nomobjeka. I think it's quite interesting, actually. It follows that trend of, like, very human-y Pokemon, and, you know, I think they're important to have, because that's a design aspect that happens in every Pokemon generation. There's always going to be a more humanoid Pokemon, whether you like it or not. But the inspirations this has, because Fighting Fairy, it's weird, because, like, you'd think that's simple, but when you think about it, it's not really as simple as you'd think. Nomobjeka did inspire me to make my own Fighting Fairy type based on similar themings with Myriad's Protester form. But yeah, like, this really works. Kleptorak is a spider, scary, steals things, it's a dark type thing to do. Simple. Yeah, I've got nothing much to say, it's just a very simple execution. Or no, a very good execution of a fairly simple concept. A simple but effective concept. Rascoom had a slur in its name when it was first revealed, and that's unfortunate. But I can't blame Lockstin, because he was using the word raccoon, which unfortunately does have a slur in its name. Weirdly. It's weird, like, if you're basing a Pokemon off a raccoon, you might fall into that trap, and that's very unfortunate. I've not, but that's because I learned not to from this series. I didn't even know it was a slur. Actually, I think I did know it was a slur before the series, because Chug Conroy's Let's Play of Mystery Dungeon. Oh well. Let's talk about the Pokemon itself. I think it works so well being a fire type, Incinerator Smokestack, and it makes sense why it's Steel type too, and plus I think a Steel type Raccoon Pokemon is quite an obvious thing to do. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Fabril, Nurse Joy Pokemon, Electric Fairy. It's based on an animal with the smallest heart and also a defibrillator, and it looks like it could work. Yeah, I think these are concepts that gel really well together. Porygon Omega, an interesting new evolution to Porygon 2. A non-corrupted version of Porygon 2. And it would have been Porygon 3, but, you know, it's turned on its head. but also it's Omega, because Amazel is like, this is the ultimate Porygon. I like it a lot. Botniac, perfect. If you're going to make an artificial Pokemon, base it on a cat, so people will want it, and then you can steal their information because you're Tom Bezel. Perfect. This is brilliant. I love it. I want one. I know it will steal all my information, but I want one. Vendrum's really cool. Fire Water type, makes sense to be based on like hydrothermal vents, and it's a tube worm as well, which live in those sorts of areas. Makes so much sense. And its ability giving it rock type resistances, perfect. Perfect. Now we get onto the Eeveelution that was revealed in the Eevee Expo, which happened on the Swirling Seasons Discord server. I was not at that expo, but the video is on YouTube where they reveal the Mist Stone, which can evolve all of the Pokemon into their Hisuian forms, but also Eevee into Enigmion, which is essentially a normal type Eeveelution that deals with the weather. And because weather is a very important thing in the Kaskade region, but I'm not going to go in depth into this because I don't want to do that. And Lockstin already did it in his series. I'm just going through my thoughts on each of the designs. And just... Enigmion is not only, like, you know, brilliant, but it's really cute as well. I just love the flowiness of it. And this wasn't revealed in the video series, by the way. I think this is a dev team creation, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I would use one, and I will use one, because Eevee's my favourite Pokemon, and I'm always going to gush about an Eeveelution if it's done well, and this is done super well. And I love how its eye is misty and cloudy, like the Mist Stone itself, and it's like, I just love it, I can't stop gushing over it. And now we get Skinker and the Skinker gens. I'm just gonna quick fire through them because I don't have much. I don't have many opinions on them. I do know. I do remember the video where Skinker was thought up of. And I like its new design a lot more than its original design. But I'm just going to go through them one by one. Skinker's cute. Stalagen, pretty cool. Rock types are pretty neat. Well, it's a pretty neat interpretation of the rock type. Chromagen, love the name, and it's... In all honesty, no offense to the artist, but this does kind of look a bit like a Digimon. I don't know why, and I've had some of my fakemon be like referred to as like, oh, how did a Bugsnax get into this? And yeah, I'm so I'm sorry. When I look at this, I can't really see it as a Pokemon, and that's unfortunate. And people may think about that about my stuff, and that's disheartening to hear someone say. But if I've got to be honest, yeah, I'm not really a fan of this design. I like the color scheme a lot. I like what it's trying to go for, and I love the name Chromagen. Aerogen, I don't really like the pose it's in this art, but the design, I think, works a lot better. Caragen, yeah, bug type, it's cool. It's really cool looking, and definitely, yeah, really cool. Bloodgen, brilliant pun. And I think its design does look quite Pokemon. Yeah. Pathogen, another brilliant pun. Such a cool design. Ectogen, the ghost type one, and I think it's... I really like its design. I like how it looks quite translucent, and Yeah. And then Legend. Again, brilliant pun. Dragon type. And fair enough, it looks almost dog-like, which is interesting. I'm not a fan of Eevee clones, because it takes away from what makes Eevee special. This is the best Eevee clone when it comes to concept, because it's taking all of the physical types and Dragon, but, you know, Dragon's a special type, but, you know, it would be a bit weird to have a Dragon-type Eeveelution, apparently. I disagree with that, but fair enough. But they balance that out by having a normal-type Eeveelution, which is fair enough. I feel like the execution of this could have been a lot better, and it does make this stick out like a sore thumb, but it makes sense to have Skinker in this, because it's like, it is a Lockemon. It was one of the first Lockemon made, so it makes sense to put in the Lockemon game. Yeah, that's like the only one that's the only line I'm not really a fan of, and that's a shame, because that's like a whole, like, solid 10 designs that I'm just like, ugh, not a fan of. I apologize to Lockstin and the dev team and the artists if you feel like I've been a bit harsh, but that's just my opinion, and for those who like it, I'm also sorry, but I'm glad you like it. And the thing is, I did like some of these designs, so I think something like Erogen just needs a different pose, and Chromogen, I think, because I don't know what the sprites look like yet, but once I see the sprites, my mind could change. Do you know what? My mind could easily change. I'm just not a fan of Chromogen or Erogen's art, and the ones that I really like are like Caragen, Bloodgen, Pathogen, and Ectogen I do like. The others I'm like meta on, and I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Chromogen. That's probably the only mon in this deck that I just flat out do not like the design of. Like I've had some question marks about some mon, but for the most part I do think every mon here has a good design, but I'm just not a fan of Chromogen personally. Sorry. Pokemon I am a fan of the design. Boo-woo! It's so cute. I want one. It's a water type. Why are the water types so good? There's also Wozgrowl and Morcane, which I'm going to talk about together. Yeah, I like this as the pseudo-legendary line. I can't pick what water type I'd want on my team. That's the problem. It might be this, because it's a really cool pseudo-legendary design. If I pick this, I cannot pick because I don't like having type repeats. If I pick this, I can't have Yanmage. And that's a shame. Lockstin, why do you have so many good designs? I know I was kind of shitting on some of them earlier, like just now, but most of your designs are really good ideas. And really well executed as well. Please stop it with your brilliant noggin. We've got Probat, which is a Amazel evolution of Golbat, and I thought it was originally... Yeah, I think it was originally called Vibat, but Probat makes sense as a name because it probes things, and yeah, do you know what? Fair enough. Oricub is one of the cutest things I've ever seen. Bear Cub Pokemon are always cute, and this is a more realistic depiction of a Bear Cub, and it's still really cute. Like, I think every Bear Cub Pokemon is adorable. Every single one, and this one adds to that collection. I like how it and its evolution Bearvoyant are ghost types without being dead. They are connected to the spiritual realm through psychic powers, which makes them clairvoyant. And like that whole design aspect, I really like it. Gemini, it's really cool. Gemini, it has gems for eyes. It has eyes all over its body. I find that really cool. I don't know why I sang that like that. Following is also an edgy concept, but it's an edgy concept that I think works well. It's a pseudo Pika clone, so they made it so, because you need more electric types, you might as well make a Pika clone Eskimon. But I like how it's psychic type with mind control, and it's based on cult leaders, and that works so well for Lemmings. I just really like it. I also like the concept behind Cascadian Bellsprout and Drozebell. I think the kind of plants they're based on, but I like the designs more than the actual Bellsprout line. So, do you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Skideer Skideer is really cute. I want one. I keep saying that, but it's really cute. And then you've got Yulei, very Christmassy, almost sickeningly Christmassy. But it works for what they're going for, and Ice Fairy types always get good designs in the fakemon community, from what I can see. Yeah, they're just really good. Now we get to the fossils. FIFA and Viseer make so much sense. We definitely are in need of more saber-toothed tiger Pokemon. Because we got Raikou, but it's a legendary, so it's not really that accessible. Meanwhile, with mammoth Pokemon, although it's not really a mammoth, it is quite literally a pig that with mammoth-like properties. Mamoswine works as a mammoth Pokemon representation. We need a proper representation for saber-toothed tigers, and since all these Fossilmon are Ice Age, so Lockstin just gave them all Ice type, it makes sense why this Apex Predator would be Fire type, because then it would be good against those Ice types. So I really like it. Feesnooz and Telemac being the ancestors of like Hypno and Musharna and Girafarig, yes, I'm gonna do my own take on a Musharna and Hypno ancestor, because I feel like what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and make it coexist with this, because this is a brilliant idea, and I really like Telemac a lot. I don't want to be seen as copying, but like a Psychic type Tapir, we had 2 of those, it makes sense to do an ancestor of that, and this works so well in my opinion, so I will do my own take, but I'm gonna do my best to not tread on this water, because I don't want to be seen as copying, especially when the standard is also this high. So I'm going to be careful. I might retool my idea, because this is already fairly perfect. But I've already got differences in mind for mine, and yeah, this is good. Macedontis. Yeah. I really like what it's going for. I've not got much to say about it. I just really like it. Crynarost, yeah, I like it even more. It really works as an ancestor to the Rhyperior line. Yeah, I really like it. I really like it. We've got Cascadian Golett and Golger. Interesting. When I was developing my Ghost Rock type, I was going to do variants of the Golurk line. Glad I didn't, because this exists too. Let's start with Golett. I find it interesting that it's mono Ghost type, but it evolves into something to expand on the concept, like Slowpoke, so I think that works. And being based on like basket weaving and all that, I really think it works. And Golger, the myth it's based on, is so interesting, and how it's incorporated into the region is so interesting and mythical, and I love it. I love it so much. I do not know what this thing is. He mentioned it in one video, but it was only mentioning it. Rotom. What is Rotom? Can one of the developers please tell me what Rotom is? I am scared of this thing. This thing is so metal. I love it, but what is it? It terrifies me. It's so cool. And now we get onto the legendaries. So Tamunk, the Spring Bloom Pokemon. It's so cute. It's so cute. It's like a little fairy, and I like it a lot. It's so kawaii, and I love it. Tamunk being the autumn fall Pokemon. Yeah, I like how they're based on Chumunk and Chicat. Wait, hold on. Have I missed Chumunk and Chicat? Oh, so I don't remember talking about them. I missed out Chumunk and Chicat. Okay, well, he talks about these first anyway. I like how they're basically like souped up versions of Pokemon that are already in the decks. And, you know, I like it. I like it a lot. I like these concepts, and I like how they're the emissaries of their specific seasons. So before I get into the box art legendaries, let me just cover something I forgot to. Chumunk and Chicat. I think it's cute and round, and then becomes quite an interesting, like, cat-like thing, which it's interesting. I like Mon that don't inherently stick to their species, as long as the theming continues. And there is species theming, because it is still sticking to its species, it just doesn't look it. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I keep saying that, but I think it's cute, and I think the design makes sense and works well. So, Minadza. I like this legendary. I think it's amazing. The Blazing Summer Pokemon. It would 4 minutes left. Yeah, I think it works really well for what it is, and it, you know, it references the myth pretty well, and yeah, I like it a lot. As does Arctical, and I like how the types interact with one another, and it's so cool. And, you know, I find it interesting that they have the alchemical symbols referenced. Wakoot! It's it's an old coot, and he's a coyote, and I like it. And I find it really interesting, and I like how it plays into the plot, and it's a good design. Omega Rogon. So it's Oregon. It's Oregon. But it's a combination of Porygon Omega and also Rotom, and it's also a Thunderbird, and oh my god, it's all these things, and it's so cool, and it's like the big bad legendary, and it works so well. Orpalod. I like how it's based on like those conspiracy theories, but also it's very Lovecraftian in nature, and based on Cthulhu and all those tentacles. It works so well. Pestillation being based on a scorpion but flipped, and also it looks like it's steel type, so it has steel worker, but also it's flying type because it flies, and poison type because it's pestillation, you know. It's, yeah. Revlon being themed around sulfur is interesting, and sulfur beam is such a cool idea for a move, and yeah, I like its design a lot. The OC's being like a water panther, I like it a lot too, and I just think its design is very Ultra Beasty. But my favourite Ultra Beast out of Lockstin's lot is Lamentu. I think it's such a pretty design. Everything that it wants to incorporate is incorporated really well. It's subtly edgy without being completely edgy, and, you know, all of its design aspects work well. And I'm going to be really brief, but Endromodai, very circular reasoning, really works well. Such a clever idea. Everything fits together so well. I love it. Possibly, arguably the objective best Pokémon. Hello! I forgot to record some stuff, which is understandable considering I was running out of space on my SD card. Just to reflect on those Ultra Beasts, I love them, and all the legendaries, they're so good. I think they're all amazing. I forgot to cover all the cast forms, Rotoms, and another thing. I'll save the cast forms till last. I'll start with Lowland, Snover, and Abomasnow. Interesting that that Lockstin's doing this, because it's like a regional variant, but like within a region. So it's like it's not classed as a regional variant, but it is like very specific to somewhere in this region. It's interesting. But I guess I'll try and quickfire everything else here. Rotom home form, really smart, makes sense with the whole Amazel thing. It makes sense, and making it sound-based, perfect. Base Rotom, because what's so metal? The music genre. Inspired. Absolutely inspired as well. The soul form. Like, it's interesting doing a dragon-type Rotom that's a satellite, and yeah, it's like, it's not something I would have thought of, but it's something that has inspired me to do something for my region. More on that later down the line. Rotom Sway form makes sense. It's a TV. It mind controls you. Perfect. 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 Rotom Brawl form being an arcade cabinet. Let's just say I find this inspiring in some way. I think this is the perfect Rotom form for a fighting type. Rotom Web form makes sense. Server, malware, dark web, dark, malicious, evil. It makes so much sense. Junk form's just funny. I like the poisoniness. I like why it's poison type. It's just fun. Toril form, perfect for the fairy type. Very nice and mischievous and small and quite fey and caring. And then mixed form makes sense for ground type. And now cast form. I think basing cast form off all the weathergy is so smart, and I am in awe of how well he managed to do a cast form of every type. And I think his cast form of every type video is very definitive, I would say. Because you've got the battle aura, makes sense, because how can you do fighting in a weather? Well, aura, like the fighting spirit around everyone, it works. Strong winds, cast form, tornado, makes sense. Smog cast form, there are other things you could do with poison, but honestly, smog is one of them, and it works quite well. I think for Dust Devil, he should have done, gave it devil horns, in my opinion. I think it is missing something outside of that. Just it is missing something, and I think that would fix it. Sandstorm. Okay, no. Let's see if that makes it in. Sandstorm makes sense. Sandstorm's a weather that Pokemon should have had for cast form, and I'm surprised that they didn't. Pheromones, cast form. I mean, what else would you do with bug? And I like how it looks like a bug now. Cursed Winds cast form is nice and creepy and has some really cool inspiration. And I really do like it. It's probably my favorite out of these. There are a few others that I really like. I like pretty much all of the special type ones. But, my three favorite from the, like, physical types are, like, Fighting, Bug, and Ghost. Steel's pretty interesting, too, and having Steel, basing it off of a Steel Whirligig makes sense, and I like the lore behind it, and it's kinda messed up, and messed up Pokemon designs are great. Pollen cast form, brilliant. It's got hay fever, and it looks like a flower, and it's just, I love it. Thunderstorm cast form, yeah, that works. It is pretty much what you would expect an electric type cast form to look like. Psychic Field cast form being based on like a crystal ball, that's inspired, and having the crystal ball be made out of psychic energy, like Psychic Terrain, brilliant. Dragon Force. Okay. Okay, I'll stop with the music references, but Dragon Force, very interesting, and I like how it's referencing Regidrago, because it's made from what Regidrago's made from, so it makes sense that they look a bit similar. Blood Moon cast form, I like how mischievous it is, and I like how it kind of looks like a Blood Moon too, and I like the evil wispiness about it. And Fairy Dust cast form, it's a heart, and it's like fairy types are surprisingly natural to like have their own distinct aesthetic, and it's weird. Like, I'm just describing it as if it's new, even though fairy types have existed in the series for like nearly 10 years now. So, but yeah, that's everything. That's the entire Kaskade region. I didn't have time to properly reflect on it, but I do genuinely think it's one of the best fakemon regions I've ever seen. You can tell a lot of thought went into it, and even the designs I wasn't so keen on, were largely decent and well thought out. Lockstin did a very good job, and I'm very excited to see how his future fakemon projects pan out. If you want to watch the Kaskade Region series or visit the wiki yourself, I'll link everything, all the relevant links down in the description, as well as the link tree in my description, where you can see all of my socials, including my own fakemon region, as well as my Patreon, which will help go to supporting this channel, as all the proceeds to that will fund projects on this channel. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Give Lockstin some love as well. And I will see you in my next video. And will that seagull shut up? And I'll see you in my next video. Take care, everyone.